Well, hey, Life Groups, I hope you've all had a good week. This Sunday, we dove back into the book of Acts for the final section, and we launched with a look at Acts chapter 13 and 14, which tells the story of the very first missionary journey of the Apostle Paul. One of the things that we saw was that the church from where they were sent out, the church in Antioch, was a really diverse community with people of different ethnic, racial, cultural backgrounds. And we talked about how Luke's vision for the church is one of great diversity as an expression of the heart of God. And I wonder, without any kind of judgment, I wonder if it could be a good opportunity for us to reflect on the degree to which in our church or even just in our lives, we are experiencing that kind of, open, diverse expression and experience connecting with people who are different from us in all kinds of different ways. But as Paul and Barnabas are set out to go on this missionary journey, their mission is really clear, that they are sent out to be used by God to open a door of faith to the Gentiles. Gentiles being a word that means basically all nations, to open it up to all people, not just a Jewish messianic hope, but a hope for the whole world. And this obviously got them into a lot of trouble, as there was a lot of historical and cultural tension around seeing Jewish and non-Jewish people coming together and experiencing Jesus. And there were those out of a sense of, superiority or exclusivity that wanted to keep certain people out. They weren't ready to embrace this idea that Jesus could have us all in together. And I wonder if we could do some reflecting on the degree to which, maybe in different ways, we've allowed some of that same kind of attitude to allow us to treat some people as insiders while viewing others as outsiders. The other thing that we saw in the story was in some pretty bizarre stories about, people who were called a child of the devil, or in one part Saul and Barnabas were almost worshipped as gods. We saw the way that going out and sharing our faith in Jesus, telling people about the reality of the risen Jesus, can get us into some pretty weird situations. In some cases where, we're being opposed by, in this case, a devil. In another case where we're being embraced or maybe being seen as too important in the whole storyline. And I think many of us maybe have experienced in what we have sometimes called evangelism, where fear or overconfidence can actually really get in the way of putting the spotlight on Jesus. And hopefully we can unpack a little bit about what are some of the ways that we can share the hope that we have in Jesus with the people in our neighborhoods, in our families, in our friendship circles, at work, at school, in ways that maybe don't trip into some of those pitfalls. But ultimately, as we are called to be ambassadors of this beautiful Jesus movement and the coming kingdom of heaven on earth, my invitation for you, especially if maybe some of you in the group are still on the fence about Jesus, still wondering if now is the right time for you, to have a conversation about what some of the barriers might be, either to sharing your faith or to embracing faith and walking through the door of faith yourself. So I hope you can have an amazing conversation, and look forward to hearing about it. Have a wonderful conversation.